All right, greetings. In this video, I'm going to walk through the entire process of setting up the Lumos Trade system. As a reminder, Lumos is an open source project. It is designed to be hosted on Google Cloud, although I'm sure it could be extended to other platforms in the future pretty easily. It is a self-hosted single-tenant system. You own your own data. It is not designed for multiple users. It's designed for you to use personally. So let's go ahead and get started and walk through the whole process. And I will pause along the way on some of the lengthy parts. So first of all, to get started, go into Google Cloud and go to the project selector at the top and create a new project. I highly recommend you put Lumos in its own project. You could put it in an existing project, but it's just a lot cleaner to manage permissions and to clean up after yourself when you're done. So I'm going to call this Lumos install demo. Let's go ahead and create it. It just takes a few moments for that to appear. Let's go in here. There, we can see it now. All right, we've created it. Now let's go into the command line. So this is in the Lumos home directory. There's a shell script called Lumos, which actually will walk you through the whole process. So first of all, you have to create an environment. For most people, you're just going to want one. Maybe call it Lumos, but if you do want to have active work on the project, if you want to do a development or a staging or a production environment, you can do that. I'm just going to call this, let's just call this install demo. Okay, you can pick now from the projects available. You can see I have several. Let's just pick this one I had here, Lumos install demo. It grabs the number. You can choose the region or just accept the default. And now it's done. So you can see here our current environment is Lumos install demo. Here will be the URL for the script, or I'm sorry, for the application down the road. But now we need to actually install this. So let's run this Lumos script again. Oops, I'm sorry, run it. And you can see the help here. I might have a different video where I talk about all the command line options, but for now, just run the installer. All right, so here we are in the installer. We do need to set up several dependencies for this to work. So read through this at your own leisure. Definitely confirm the project. You don't want to overwrite or put it in a project that you don't intend to put it in. Here's the demo environment that we just set up. Here are the dependencies. We're going to create a MySQL 8.4 instance. We're going to use data store. We're going to create Cloud Run services. We're going to use Secret Manager for all the secrets, Cloud Build for the deployment, and we're going to set up some cron jobs using Cloud Scheduler as well. So important notes, the script is rerunnable. If you bail on the script halfway or hit an error, it is perfectly safe to run it again. It will pick up where it left off. It will prompt you along the way if there's anything that you need to be aware of in the process, but it should be pretty safe to rerun this. But of course, read everything carefully. So let's go ahead and get started. I'll talk about some of this content along the way. So do we want to install it in this project? Yes, let's go ahead and do it. First thing it's doing is checking all the APIs for GCP to make sure that they are enabled. It's using the Google Cloud command line interface to do this. Since this is a new project, very little is enabled. Obviously, Google Cloud is a least privileged system. You have to turn things on as you need them, which is the safe way to do that. So for now, we're going to go ahead and turn these on. So again, that's why I recommend you put it in a new project so you're not mucking up your environment that you're using for something else. So hit yes. And it's going to go ahead and enable all of these different permissions now. This will take 30 seconds or so. So we're just going to let this run through. Again, if anything failed along the way, you can go back, try to debug what's going on, and hit run again on this. I did try to make some effort if there's failures along the way for the script to output the Google Cloud commands that you can run to debug it. I used Claude Sonnet 4.5 a lot for the development, and AI just did a wonderful job of anticipating some of these cases and documenting all the different edge flows, something that would have taken me hours more to do if I could have done it at all. And it just injected some of these conditional flows automatically for me, which is brilliant. And I walked through I hit several of these errors along the way, and it was very helpful for me to debug using this script myself. So this should be done in a minute or so. And next time we run this, it'll fly through this a lot quicker if you run it again, because it'll detect that these APIs are already enabled. So let's give this a minute. Hopefully it's done pretty soon. Hope you're having a good day today. How's everyone doing? All right, I'm not sure why that's taking a while. Oh, okay, here we go. This process end to end will probably take you about 20 to 25 minutes. The bulk of that is waiting for MySQL. Okay, here we go. Now we are ready to set up the MySQL instance. This is a Cloud SQL installation hosted on Google Cloud. It runs MySQL 8.4. You have a few options here. We can create the instance for you automatically. If you want finer control, you can go and create it yourself and come back and select the instance from the script. And that might be desirable. What we're creating here is bare bones, low infrastructure needs because you're using this just for yourself, and Lumos doesn't have very heavy database requirements, so you shouldn't need anything more than that. But if you want to do something different, you can hit number 3 here and it'll exit out the script. You can create it and you can come back. But let's go ahead and do number 1. All right, here's some warnings. Okay, this part takes a while. Let me just show you in the Cloud Console what's going on here. So if we go, exit out here. Okay, we're in the demo. If we do Cloud SQL, you can see we are creating a Cloud SQL instance right now. This takes about 15 minutes. It takes a while. So I'm going to pause the recording and come back as soon as it's done. As a reminder, even if you're waiting and you get bored and you hit Control-C and you exit out, you can still come back and rerun this later, and it will just pick up the instance if it's running. If it's not running, it will make you wait for the instance. So let's go ahead and pause, and we'll be back in 10 minutes. All right, we're back. That actually took more like 20 minutes. So hope you got some coffee, stretch your legs, relax a little bit. Okay, you can see now, let's scroll up a little bit. Yeah, okay, so now it has been installed. We go to Cloud SQL, we can see the little green checkbox is runnable. That's good. All right, and now we need to actually create the database. So it's going to create a database called Lumos on that Cloud SQL instance. Go ahead and click yes. Let that chug away. Now we're going to create a user account on the database to run our SQL statements. So go ahead and click yes for that. It generated a password, as you can see here. If you want to put your own, you can do that as well. You can always change it later, of course. Let's go ahead and just hit enter and use the password it generated. This password will get stored in a secrets file later, so you'll see it later. If you want to copy paste it now, that's great too, though. All right, yeah, and we'll talk about Secret Manager, so let's go ahead and do the next step. All right, now we are going to actually initialize the schema on here. So if you have rerun this script in the past, so like say you got all the way through the database creation and then hit an error or bailed out or whatnot, you can choose to skip this part if you want and then go on to the next step. Or if you haven't created the schema yet, obviously you will need to do that. So since we are doing a fresh install here, we do want to create the schema. So go ahead and hit yes. And while this is running, I'll show you in the Lumos project, you can see under the, where is it? Lumos Trade, under source and under database, you can see the schema file here too. This is a dump of the database if you ever want to look at it. And then this is the script that runs afterwards to pre-populate some data. This should not take terribly long. Hopefully we'll be done in a few seconds here. There we go. Okay, we do use data store on Google Cloud for mostly just settings. It stores the access tokens that are generated for the broker interactions, as well as just UI settings for saved views, for example. So we do want to create that. That will create a default Firestore database in data store. Okay, now we have the secrets file. You can see this generated secrets file was displayed here. If you go into the Lumos project, you can actually see this under the config directory. You can see the template that we put for our secrets file, and then let's see, oops, sorry. Right here, install demo secrets. So you can see the original secrets file. Highly recommended you do not check this into Git or version control, and instead use Google's Secret Manager to store that. So right now, it has generated some passwords, and it gives instructions here on how to upload it to the Secrets Manager in cloud. So let's go ahead and just, yes, upload it. So let's switch back to Google Cloud. You can see if you go to the project, you go to Secrets Manager, you can see our secrets file was generated there. All right. Do you want to delete the local secrets file? Generally, I would say yes. You don't want to keep it on your local workstation. I'm going to say no, just in case we want to reference it for this demonstration. But I would recommend deleting it later. You can always download it later, so you don't lose these secrets forever. All right. Service accounts. Next step, we are setting up service accounts. We do embrace the least privilege service account security mindset here. We are running different cloud run services for the different aspects of Lumos, and we use different service accounts for each of these. They're described here. We have the web app itself, has one service account. Lumos Agent, the service account runs the ADK agents that power some of the AI services. And then Lumos Tool powers the MCP tool services that are used by the ADK services. So we generate just the least amount of permissions that are necessary to run those services. So we're going to go ahead and click yes on that. That's going to create these service accounts. I'll switch back to cloud while that's running. I'll show you service accounts. Yeah, you can see we're creating them right here. You got the default compute one, and then we just created Lumos Agent, Lumos App, Lumos Tool, and you can see the permissions here. So it's going through the bindings right now, just making sure that all of the service accounts have all of the permissions that they need to do their job. There's also a test script under the Lumos shell script to actually verify these service accounts permissions later if you ever want to change them or add to them, or if something's just not working, you want to debug. I found that quite helpful myself as I was developing this, so it's available in the toolset. All right, service accounts created. Now we need to deploy these services. In the future, I will probably make some Docker images to make this quick and easy. Right now, it actually just does a full build and a full deploy. The builds do create Docker images and upload them through, uses Cloud Build, and then uploads them to Cloud Run services using these service accounts. This may take a while too, so I'm going to quickly hit yes here to start it. And then while this is going, I'm going to pause again, so you don't have to wait through all this, but this will probably take, the first time about 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes to run through all of these in sequence. The next time, if you do rerun this, it will detect if the service is already out there, and if it is, it will skip this and go through much quicker. And you can also, in a separate video, I might talk about how to deploy changes if you want to make updates. There is a deploy command off of the Lumos shell script that will actually just deploy these. So let's go ahead and hit pause, and we'll come back when it's done. And we're back. So the services have now been created. Let's go ahead and show that in Cloud Console. We go to Cloud Run in Google Cloud. You can see, here, look at the services. You can see all the services that we just created. Lumos App is the website and the core application. Lumos Agents has our ADK agents that service requests from the app. Lumos Tool, Lumos DB is an instance of MCP toolbox for databases from the Vertex AI suite of SDK offerings. That is a connector to the database to pull all the trade information into the AI agent. And then Lumos Tool Trade is an MCP tool that actually exposes methods from the Lumos Trade core library. For example, the ability to get stock quotes or to kick off balance updates, to do operations on the Lumos app are all accessible by Lumos Tool Trade, which you can prompt through the chat agent. All right, let's go back to the install script. Next step, cron jobs. So because we are connecting to broker APIs, E-Trade and Schwab in this first release, it's not a live feed, so we have to pull the balances and the trade information out of the broker from time to time. You can do that through the application, but it is also helpful to have a cron job running daily to pull that information. If you don't pull this information daily, you won't have daily roll-ups because you will lose some of the fidelity of the data if you're not pulling it in every day. So I highly recommend that you do this. And it will allow you to benefit from the data over time without having to log into the app every day to do that. So there are 4 operations available. This will only install the first, which is refresh, which will refresh the orders, quotes, and so forth. It'll do it at 7 a.m. and 4 p.m. You can change that if you want. There are more advanced tools if you choose to use them. You can set up like calculating expected moves at the end of the day, placing orders for extended hours trading, and testing your access tokens daily, just to give you a warning if your access token is about to expire. I'm not going to do that here, but you can follow similar steps to set those up manually in the future. But the install script is just going to do the refresh. So let's go ahead and hit yes. And that's going to enable the API. While we're doing that, I'll go back to console and just show you. It's under Cloud Scheduler. Hasn't created it yet. Let's go back. Oh, looks like it has just created it. Refresh. There it is. So there's the daily job. Hasn't run yet. It's going to run. It hits this URL. It uses an auth token that we generated. It's in your secrets file for security. Right now it's in the URL. Down the road we can put it in a header if we want to make it even more secure. And it runs every day at 7 o'clock and 4 p.m. on this cron frequency. All right, that's the completion. So the install script has finished running now. There's still a few more steps. So first of all, here's our URL, which is also the same. If you forget that, there's a few places you can find it. But that is basically the URL of this cloud service, the Lumos app cloud service right here. Actually, you can click into here and you can see it's that URL. Let's go to the browser and load it. All right, it's up and running. We have to put the login in. The login's right here, but let me also show you in the secrets file that we talked about earlier. It's this guy right here, Lumos app auth. So usually this will not be on your workstation. This will be in the secrets manager and maybe a password manager you might have. Here's the cron token we talked about. Here is the database credentials that we talked about. And we're going to get to these auth access tokens as well. But let's go ahead and copy paste that into our login. All right, and right away we are pushed to this settings page because we still have to connect to the brokers. You will notice the first message says API keys not found. So you do need to go, if you are, well, you have to be obviously have an account with E-Trade or Charles Schwab to start with this, and you need to have API access. I'll probably have a different video that talks through that whole setup because that's a whole process in itself. But suffice to say, you don't need both. You can have one or the other or both. Get those, get API access, get the access keys, the API credentials, and then come back here and fill them in here. Consumer key, consumer secret for E-Trade, app key, secret. So E-Trade uses OAuth 1, Schwab uses OAuth 2. Just for the sake of this demo, I'm just going to put some dummy values here, just to show you the process. It's not going to work, obviously. Okay. Another note, E-Trade auth tokens expire. Actually, they expire once a day, which is a real pain in the butt. So if you contact E-Trade support, they will actually be able to extend it. I got them to extend it to 14 days, which is manageable. Schwab by default has a 7-day expiration. So you can change that here. And this affects the reminders that are pushed later. Okay, so now that I've updated that, you need to upload those secrets. So here's the command here, Lumos secrets upload. Okay, that puts it in the secrets manager. Do I want to delete? Generally, yes, you do, but now for this, I'm not going to do that. Okay, let's go back to here, hit refresh, and now you can see we're ready to authorize. So I'm going to leave it at that for now. Once you have your, you go through the OAuth 1 flow for eTrade, it will generate a key, or I'm sorry, an ID that you will then plug in here, and then you're authorized when you do that. Schwab will actually go through an OAuth 2 flow with a callback that will automatically authenticate and update here. The Schwab API has some quirks. You have to go back and you have to register callback URLs through their developer portal, and you have to put these two URLs in the callback URL configuration field. If you don't put these exactly the way they are, you're going to get mystery errors where you're not quite sure what is going on. It doesn't have a very good user interface for this, so trust me, just make sure that you configure these both in there and you should be good to go. After that, go ahead and look, if you haven't watched some of the other videos, you can go ahead and start using Lumos Trade, and I hope you enjoy your trading. Happy trading.